Now, I know you do lymphedema. You're certified in that through LANA. So, can you break that down a little bit and tell us about how do you help patients who have lymphedema?
Yeah. So the basic certification is the CLT, so it's a certified lymphedema therapist. And then you can get then like go through additional training and you can sit for an exam, which then makes you LANA certified. So it just designates an extra level of taking more tests, basically.
Yeah.
Kind of showing your expertise. But for lymphedema, the worldwide, the most common cause of lymphedema is actually from filariasis, which is a parasite typically in more tropical areas. But right after that, the second most common cause is going to be cancer related. So the most common that we'll see in the clinic related to cancer is going to be breast cancer. So when people have their lymph nodes removed, if they have radiation treatment, then that can contribute to then lymphedema, where the lymphatic system basically doesn't work like it should. Um, I like to think about and describe the lymphatic system kind of like a highway all throughout the body. If you have typically like 10 lanes coming out of your arm, and now because you've had lymph nodes removed, you've had radiation, you're down to four. Think about any major city, like Atlanta, for example, right? They have those like 10-lane highways. If you even have a couple lanes down, like you're gonna get traffic backup. And so that's how I kind of describe lymphedema. And so with that lymphedema, they can have it all throughout their arm. Breast cancer survivors can also have it in the breast or in the trunk. Um, and that lymphatic fluid is different than like typical, like if you bump your elbow and you have a bruise and you have some swelling there, because that lymphatic fluid is very protein rich. And so because of that, they require a specific treatment, which is called complete decongestive therapy, or CDT. And so that's typically what we'll then do in the clinic. And that includes manual lymphatic drainage, which is a really gentle, like hands-on manual treatment to help facilitate movement of the fluid out of that area. We'll do compression, either bandaging, or we'll get them into a compression garment, like a compression sleeve. Um, Exercise is really big, and then skincare are going to be kind of the four main components with CDT. So really, anytime that the lymphatic system is damaged is when people can have lymphedema. I treat people that are head and neck cancer survivors, and they'll have swelling into the face, into the neck, even into the mouth and the throat. So people can actually have a hard time swallowing and speaking. And so I'll oftentimes with those patients work very closely with our speech therapist, which is really cool to get kind of that multidisciplinary care for them. We'll work with people who have, any type of pelvic cancer. If they have lymph nodes removed or radiation and they have genital swelling, they have leg swelling, we can work on that too. Um, it's, uh, it's a tough condition to manage because it is lifelong. You can't cure it. Um, and so it can be really a tough conversation with people when they're first diagnosed with it, or when they don't know that they have it and you're explaining it to them. But even though it's not curable, it's very manageable with those treatments. And our goal is always to get people as independent as they can with managing it on their own.
Yes, yes, yes. That's really good because I've seen a few people come into the pharmacy with lymphedema in their legs, and it's a visual sight, like you can actually tell. And I almost want to pull some of them to the side and be like, hey, like, have you wrapped it? Like, are you trying
Good.
to like, are you trying to like let it breathe for today? Like, have you wrapped it? Have you
Yeah.
massaged the area? And
Yeah.
sometimes once I get more comfortable with them, I do have that type of conversation, and then try to teach them some things about it is chronic, so you can't just let it be. You have to make sure that you manage it so that you could get better. Um, and that's a good thing you said about exercise, because I thought about that too. Like, should I ask them to exercise or if they exercise?
Yes, absolutely. So the lymphatic system really relies on the muscle pumping action to help move the fluid. And so that's like number one, even if it's just, even if they're really deconditioned, having them just like walk a lap around your house at each commercial while you're watching TV or something, anything to just kind of get things moving. We do give them what are called remedial exercises. So like gentle repetitive exercises to start getting the fluid to move. We're working all the joints. We're starting to get things moving. So those are all really important. I will say the one thing that's probably the most frustrating with this population is the time it takes them to actually get diagnosed and get the proper treatment.
Mm.
So I find especially people who have swelling in their legs, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, are given Lasix, right? You want to get the fluid off the legs, but if it's lymphedema, what does that do? It takes all the fluid out, leaves the protein behind, and protein loves water. It's hydrophilic, so then that brings more fluid in. And so really these people who are given Lasix for years and years and years, it's just making the situation worse because it's not actually doing anything for the issue, which is the lymphedema. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, probably one of the more frustrating things for a lot of these patients. And I'll even have people coming in for pelvic health issues or something else. And I look at their legs and I say, you know, just like you, like, hey, like, have you had that swelling for a while? Like, have you had it checked out? And they're like, no, like, it's so painful. I've had it for years. I didn't know I could do anything about it. And so we get a new referral for that and we start working on that too.
Okay, that's really good. That's really good that you are making them go ahead to the next level. I guess you're certified in it, so you're like, yo, I see what's going on here.
Any little thing, right? What can we help with? What can we help with?